So now I've completely quit vaping nicotine unless I get agitated.
The hospital room was quiet. Too quiet for a place where life and death wrestled every passing second. The cold fluorescent lights above flickered softly, casting pale shadows on the wall. Machines beeped in slow, rhythmic patterns, each sound echoing with the fragile reminder that time was slipping away. Amy Slaton lay in the center of the room, her once strong spirit now confined to a frail body that barely rose with each breath. The thin white blankets draped over her could not hide how much weight she had lost, how tired her fight had become. Cancer had drained her, day by day, breath by breath, until she was almost unrecognizable, except for her eyes. Those blue eyes were still Amy, kind, warm, and full of love. Beside her, Tammy Slaton sat hunched in a chair far too small for her heavy grief. Her hands, shaky and cold, clung to Amy's limp fingers as if her own life depended on that touch. "Please, please don't leave me, Amy," Tammy whispered, her voice breaking. She swallowed the sob rising in her throat. "You're my best friend, my sister, my whole world. I can't do this without you." A long pause filled the air. Pause too long. Pause that made Tammy fear the worst. Then slowly, painfully slowly, Amy's eyelids fluttered open. Her gaze drifted toward Tammy, dull with exhaustion yet still glowing with tenderness. Her lips trembled into a soft, weak smile. "Tammy, don't cry," Amy murmured. Even her voice seemed to be fading. "I'm still here." Tears streamed down Tammy's cheeks, falling onto their intertwined hands. "But for how long, Amy?" she choked out. "The doctors, they said it doesn't look good." Amy took a shallow breath. A tear slipped from the corner of her eye, rolling down her temple. "I know," she whispered, "but I'm not giving up yet." Tammy leaned forward and pressed Amy's cold fingers against her forehead. "Then neither am I." The longest week of their lives' days stretched into nights, and nights blurred into one long, agonizing waiting game. The hospital became their entire world. The clock on the wall ticked loudly, almost mocking their helplessness. Nurses came and went with gentle footsteps and sympathetic eyes, but nothing eased the weight in Tammy's chest. Tammy never left Amy's side, not even for a minute. She read old family stories. She played videos from their childhood. She told jokes that weren't funny, hoping they'd make Amy smile. Sometimes they did. Sometimes they didn't. On one rare quiet night, Tammy played a recording of them cooking years ago, where they accidentally burned a batch of cookies and nearly set the entire kitchen on fire. Amy let out a faint laugh. "We were idiots," she whispered. Tammy grinned through tears. "Still are." Despite the beeping machines and the smell of antiseptic, the sisters found moments of peace. Small islands of comfort in the middle of a storm. They talked about everything. Boys they liked, secrets they had kept, dreams they still wished for. But time was running out. Everyone could feel it, especially Tammy. The promise one night, the rain pattered softly against the hospital window. Tammy hummed a lullaby their mother used to sing. Something gentle, something comforting, something from a life long before sickness and pain. Amy turned her head weakly toward her sister. Her hand trembled as she reached forward and brushed away Tammy's tears. "Promise me something," she whispered. Tammy leaned closer, her heart pounding. "Anything." Amy looked deep into her sister's eyes. "No matter what happens to me, keep living. Be happy. Lose the weight. Live the life we always dreamed of. Don't stop fighting, Tammy. Don't give up on yourself." Tammy's sob broke free like a dam bursting. She grabbed Amy's hand in both of hers and pressed it to her chest. "I promise," she cried. "I swear, Amy. Promise." Amy gave her one last smile. So small, so fragile, so full of love. The final morning, the sun rose slowly the next morning, sending soft streaks of golden light through the window. The world outside the hospital kept moving. Cars passed, birds sang. People lived their lives untouched by the tragedy unfolding inside room 407. Amy's breaths had grown slower, shallow, uneven. Tammy felt it. Everyone felt it. The end was near. The nurses moved quietly, speaking in hushed tones. No one wanted to disturb the sacredness of the moment. Tammy leaned over her sister, brushing a strand of hair from Amy's forehead. "I love you," Tammy whispered. "More than anything." Amy's lips parted. "I love you too." And then a long exhale, a stillness, a silence so thick Tammy felt like she was drowning in it. The machine by the bedside let out a long, flat beep. Tammy froze, her heart shattered. She grabbed Amy's hand desperately. "Amy? Amy, please, please don't go," she cried, shaking. Her voice echoed through the room, raw and desperate. But Amy was gone. After the loss, the funeral was quiet, simple, painful. Tammy sat in the front row, staring at the closed casket, unable to breathe. She felt hollow, like half her soul had been ripped out. Everyone tried to comfort her, but no one understood what she had truly lost. Days turned into months, months into years. The world moved on, but Tammy never forgot. Not the promise, not the love, not the sister who believed in her even when she didn't believe in herself. So she fought. She lost the weight. She healed. She grew stronger. She built the life they had dreamed of together. She built the life they had dreamed of together. Every milestone Tammy reached, every victory she achieved, she whispered the same words. "This is for you, Amy, because love doesn't die. Not truly, not ever." Amy's love lived in every choice Tammy made, every step she took, every breath she fought for. And Tammy never broke her promise. Not once, not ever. Tammy Slaton sat on the edge of the worn sofa, fingers twisting the edge of her faded t-shirt. The late afternoon sun slanted through the window behind her, casting long shadows that seemed to stretch toward the corners of the room. Corners dark with unsaid words, corners heavy with guilt and grief. Her eyes were glassy, memories swirling like smoke in her mind. She stared at the floor, at the dust motes dancing in the beams of light, trying to find ground, trying and failing. Amy Slaton stood in the small kitchen doorway, quiet. She wasn't laughing. There would be no jokes tonight, no laughter to mask the ache. Her shoulders sagged under a weight that had nothing to do with the scales, a weight born from disappointment, confusion, and sorrow. She looked at Tammy with sorrowful eyes, the kind that carried understanding and heartbreak both. "Tammy," she began softly, voice trembling. "Can we talk?" Tammy's breath stuck in her throat. She glanced up, blinking away tears that pooled too close to the edge. She nodded, though the motion was shaky. Amy stepped deliberately off the threshold and made her way across the room. She folded herself into the armchair opposite Tammy's sofa, letting out a slow exhale. The two sisters sat, not touching, but connected by more than floorboards or sunlight. Silence settled between them, heavy, pulsing, laden with things unsaid. Scene 2. The unveiling. Amy swallowed hard, searching for the words inside a heart that also wrenched in pain. "Tammy, you know I love you. Always have. Always will." Her voice cracked like breaking glass. "And I don't want to hate you, but I'm scared. I'm worried." Tammy's head fell, chin trembling. She could not meet Amy's eyes. "You worked so hard," Amy continued, tears brimming. "You lost so much weight. You found strength. You moved. You lived. For a while you flew." Silence again. The air between them felt thick, oppressive. "And now," Amy whispered, "I see you struggling. I see you hurting yourself, piece by piece. It's like watching someone I love slip into water deeper than they can swim." Tammy's voice cracked. I know. I started eating again. The stress, the pain. After the surgery, after everything, I thought I could handle it, but I couldn't." Her hands curled into fists, nails digging into her palms. "I feel lost. I feel broken. I feel like I failed." Amy's eyes softened, filled with sorrow, but also with unsaid strength. She leaned forward, reaching across the space, but not reaching, not yet. This was not about touching or comfort. It was about truth. "You didn't fail," Amy murmured. Her tone was gentle but firm, like a voice carried on a calm but unyielding wind. You just forgot how strong you really are. We don't get to erase mistakes, but we always get a choice. Every day we get a choice. Tammy shook her head. Fresh tears slipped down her cheeks. But what if I mess up again? What if I can't do it? I'm so tired, Amy. Amy swallowed. The pain in her chest made her inhale sharply. I know it's hard, but I'm not going to let you give up. Not like this. Not now. She hesitated, then added softly, we don't have to do this perfectly. We just have to try. Together. For the first time in months, Tammy looked up. Their eyes met, raw, vulnerable, aching. Something flickered there. A fragile spark of hope. Scene 3. A promise among broken pieces. The living room was silent, save for the faint hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen. Outside, daylight began to fade, the world shifting toward evening. The sisters remained seated, their shoulders slightly hunched, their breaths heavy but joined. I promise you, Tammy whispered, voice quivering. I promise I'll try. I'll do it. For you and for me. Amy closed her eyes, relief, quiet, fragile, washing over her. She opened them again, a brave, sad smile forming on her lips. You don't need to be what you were before, she said softly. You just need to be better than yesterday. A little stronger, a little kinder to yourself. Tammy nodded, her beauty unmasked by tears. Vulnerable, hurting, but real. And I'll be here, Amy added. I'll be your reminder. If you forget who you are, I'll remind you. If you fall, I'll reach out. They sat like that for a long time, not moving, not speaking, just letting the silence hold them. They had made a pact of honesty, pact of healing, and maybe, just maybe, of survival. Scene 4. The shadow of the past night came, soft and heavy. Tammy lay awake in bed, eyes staring at the ceiling. Memories haunted her. Hospital rooms, for drips, the hollow ache in her chest when she realized she was losing control again. She felt the weight on her chest, not just from her body, but from guilt, regret, and fear. How could I let it happen again? She whispered to the darkness. She remembered the surgery, the hope that came with it, the promise of new life, of freedom from pain, from shame, from what she had been told she should never be. She had cried that night, tears of relief, of guilt, of optimism. And now she felt like a failure, a shell. In the silence, she felt a movement in her heart, a knot tightening. She closed her eyes. No more. She thought of Amy, thought of that chair across from her, thought of the strength in Amy's eyes when she promised to stay, thought of the sister who believed in her. If she believes I can do it, Tammy whispered, then maybe I can. She exhaled slowly, and for the first time in months, maybe years, she felt something else rising. Resolve. Scene 5. First steps the next morning. The air in the house felt different, heavier, but also real. Honest. Amy was in the kitchen. The table was bare, clean. No takeout boxes, no leftover snacks. A jug of water sat in the center. Beside it, 2 glasses, one for each sister. Tammy entered quietly. She hesitated at the threshold, watching Amy as she poured water. Amy looked up and offered her a glass with a small, gentle smile. Here, she said. First step. Tammy's fingers brushed the glass before she took it. Her hand closed around it and she nodded. They drank. Water. Plain, simple water. But in that moment, it carried more weight than any fancy drink, any sugary comfort. They reached for each other's hands across the table. No words. No need. Just sisterhood. Scene 6. The blank canvas days turned into a slow routine. But this time, the routine was different. There were no easy cravings to surrender to. There were no late-night binges hidden from shame. There was no silent guilt eating away at the edges of peace. Instead, morning walks, journals filled with trembling but determined handwriting. Small, careful meals prepared together. Vegetables, lean protein, water. Nothing flashy, just nourishment. Conversations, long, painful, healing. About fears, about hopes, about what it meant to deserve love again. Not from the world, from themselves. Each night they checked in on each other. "How are you feeling?" Amy would ask. "A little shaky." Tammy would answer, "That's okay." Amy would say, "It's part of it. No judgment. No shame. Just steady daily care." At first, the weight on Tammy's body felt heavier than the weight of her failure. But day by day, each step lightened. Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally. She felt the tightness in her chest ease. She felt the memories become less sharp, less piercing. She began to breathe easier. Scene 7. The kitchen porch. It was a sunny afternoon when they both ended up on the old porch. The wooden floorboards creaked under their weight. The world outside hummed, birds chirping, leaves rustling softly in a warm breeze. The smell of earth and sun filled the air. Amy pulled out an old photo album from the shelf. The cover was dusty, its edges frayed. Tammy sat beside her. Together, they opened it. Page after page revealed a past. Two sisters laughing on beach trips, birthday parties with cake smeared on cheeks, high school dances, from photos, memories of hope, innocence, and dreams untouched by fear. Tammy traced a finger over one picture. Teenage sisters, grinning at each other, arms around each other's shoulders. "I never thought we'd get back here," she murmured. Amy closed the album gently and looked at her sister. Her gaze was soft and tender and full of something deeper than memory. "We're not just going back, Tammy," she said quietly. "We're moving forward." Tammy exhaled. For a moment, the world seemed to pause. Then, quietly, softly, she said, "I'm proud of you, Amy." Amy's eyes glistened. "I'm proud of you too, sister. Of us." They sat in silence as the sun dipped low. The breeze whispered through the trees. Their hearts, once heavy, felt lighter, healed in ways that only time, truth, and love could heal. Scene 8. A new dawn. Time passed. Not quickly, but steadily. Tammy's body began to shift, not just in how it looked, but in how it felt. Her steps grew surer. Her breath came easier. Her laughter returned, soft at first, then stronger, friendlier. Amy watched, proud, protective, loving. They learned to celebrate small victories. A week ago, Amy stood behind her, hands on her shoulders. She watched Tammy's reflection, watched the sister she once feared she'd lost, the sister she once begged not to give up. "You kept your promise," Amy said softly. Tammy turned, tears in her eyes, but this time tears of relief, pride, strength. She wrapped her arms around Amy and held on. "For you," she whispered. "For us." They held each other for a long moment, because sometimes the loudest victories come not in shouts, but in quiet glances, quiet embraces, quiet hearts beating again. Scene 10. The unwritten future. They didn't know what the future held. They didn't know if the old fears might come creeping back. They didn't know if life would knock them down again. But they did know this. They still had each other. They still had love, strength, hope, promise. No more illusions. No more hiding. No more shame. Just truth. Just healing. Just sisterhood. Tammy and Amy. Two souls, once battered, now slowly rising. Together, because they learned finally what it meant to fight. Not for anyone else, but for themselves, for each other. And that, perhaps, was the most powerful thing of all. As the last sliver of sunlight dipped below the Kentucky horizon, two sisters sat in a rare moment of silence. Amy and Tammy Slaton. The world knew them as reality TV personalities. Loud, dramatic, and constantly battling the weight of their past. But this moment, this was different. No cameras, no scripts. Just two sisters leaning on each other, breathing the same cool evening air, knowing that no matter how heavy life became, they would always have each other. They had laughed together. They had fought harder than most families ever could. They had cried through pain that viewers would never fully understand. But tonight, as the sky turned dark, one thing was undeniable. Their journey wasn't finished, but neither was their bond. Sparkles, a new story begins, far from the cameras in a small, quiet town hidden deep in Kentucky's hills. Another pair of sisters, Lizzie and Becca Johnson, were unknowingly standing at the edge of a life-changing chapter. Their series, 1,000-Pound Sisters, The Johnson Story, had already introduced them to the world. But the audience had only seen fragments, edited seconds stitched together for television. Behind closed doors, their real story lived. Lizzie, the silent protector Lizzie, the older sister, had always carried the invisible weight of responsibility. She took care of everyone, except herself. What people never saw was the dream she buried under years of guilt and insecurity: becoming a professional baker. Every night after filming, Lizzie escaped to the kitchen like it was sacred ground. The click of the oven, the smell of vanilla, the flour on her hands. They gave her a sense of peace she couldn't find anywhere else. But she never told anyone how badly she wished to turn it into a real career. Not until the day everything changed. Becca, the loud one with a quiet pain. Becca was the firecracker. Funny, bright, always making a room laugh. But underneath her bold personality, she carried a wound that few understood. Childhood trauma, buried deep, while the world saw a confident woman. Behind the scenes, she was fighting demons she never shared. Not even with Lizzie. She started therapy quietly. She hid her journals. She cried in silence. Tornado, their bond begins to crack as filming progressed. Something unexpected happened. Something no one predicted. Their shared weight loss journey began to divide them. Lizzie wanted slow, steady progress. Becca wanted quick results, desperate to see change overnight. Their approaches clashed. Their arguments grew sharper. The unspoken tension between them finally erupted into painful silence. For the first time in years, their relationship felt fragile. Broken heart, the moment that changed everything. One evening, during a private heart-to-heart, Lizzie confessed her secret dream of opening her own bakery. She expected laughter, maybe even judgment. Instead, Becca reached for her hand and said, "If this is your dream, I'll help you build it." For the first time in years, the sisters felt like they were back on the same team. That small moment of vulnerability mended something that had been breaking for months.